I remember going on a walk and thinking to myself, I don't want to be here. And then being in disbelief because I've always loved myself. And I used to make fun of people and not really get that people went through depression or didn't want to be here anymore. And I didn't understand it. Why don't you just eat some good food or go be around people, watch a good show? And I was now at this mental state. I called everybody close to me in my life and told them, I don't want to be here anymore. And they didn't say nothing. Like nobody said anything. They just was like, really? Like nobody really knew what to do. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to do because I'm the person that people call when they don't want to be here. They talk to me about it and then I talk them off the ledge. And I knew that the only person that would be able to understand me and talk me off that ledge wasn't here anymore, my dad. That was a big reason why my dad's death really bothered me so much because I knew that I would not have that person anymore. I knew that there was nobody who could understand me, who could get me. I called everybody in my life. I don't fault anybody, right? I don't blame anybody for not really saying anything, right? Because they have their own problems and people just don't really understand. I'm the strong person. When people say check on your strong friends, that I called everybody, nobody really said nothing, which made me think, okay, cool. This is good. This is it. This is over. And I just partied. I just partied. I mean, it was like, it's the end. I'm gonna just party every day. I could go out anywhere and just make friends, and I look good. I'm dressed up. It's like you can't really tell that's where I'm at, but I felt like it's the end. I felt like it's over. Let me just have fun. But also there was a side of me that wanted to fight against it, right? Like I wanted to just be saved. And in the mix of that, I went out. Because I would never do anything to harm myself. I just wanted it to happen. So one day I got so drunk, I would go out and get drunk and just like start things with people or drive crazy. And then one day I'm driving back and forth up the street just hoping, something happens and I get pulled over and I get a DUI. Nobody really understands what's happening. I felt like, okay, cool. Like that didn't happen that day, but fine. Just the next day after I got my DUI, I get home, I'm going back out because we gotta make this happen. Like this is, whatever. It's fun. It's the end still. That's just a part of the end. And I called my friend Raquel. Right? I was like, I had somebody who I hadn't talked to in a long time, somebody who shouldn't answer the phone for me, and I told her, this is how I'm feeling. She's a social worker, so she was able to handle it a little bit better than I think other people. She was like, well, what's going on? She was like, you've never talked like this before. What are you talking like? She was so baffled. I remember her saying, what? Like, I've never heard you talk like this before. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, all right, well, cool. I gotta go. I'm walking into this bar. I'll call you back. So I'll go to the bar. We meet these white girls. White girls be fun. When you're depressed, white girls be fun. So I meet this white girl. We having a good time. And Raquel calls me back. And she's like, hey, I need you to leave the bar. I was like, oh, please, I'm having fun. These white girls having a good time. And she's like, I need you to leave the bar right now. And I left the bar. And she was like, I'm gonna pray for you. Let's pray. And no, we ain't about to cry, but let's get straight. She's like, oh, let's pray. So I left the bar. I'm outside, and she prayed. Please take this. She's a spiritual woman. Please take this off of him. Da 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 da. And that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed was that. And I was like, okay, let's get out of this. Let's get out of this. Let me at this time I didn't really know, because I'm a person where I let God lead my life, and it was just like, okay, go to Puerto Rico. The flight to Puerto Rico, and I literally had to get out of the situation and things that I was in. And I remember when I got to Puerto Rico and the plane landed, I cried. They thought I was like, the person next to me was like, yeah, I was scared too. It was real bumpy. And I was like, nah, I just didn't think I was going to leave that place that I used to live in. I just didn't think I was going to leave there. So I got to Puerto Rico and I'm still feeling I'm celebrating by still, and I'm drinking. I'm still celebrating. But then when I'm drinking, they're still getting these voices in my head that's just like saying, you don't want to be here. But I'm like fighting back and forth with it. And after a few nights of just like being in a bad state mentally, I just heard a voice. I don't know if it was the universe, I don't know if it was God, I don't know if it was my dad, I don't know who it was, right? said, stop drinking, and I'm going to give you everything you want. Stop drinking and go to Miss Rhonda's house. And I'm thinking like, what? Like, go to Miss Rhonda's house. Miss Rhonda is someone who's from my hometown, and she had moved to Puerto Rico to get away from my hometown. And I met her one time in my hometown, but we didn't really know each other. And I'm like, I don't know this lady. Like, I'm thinking whatever. So we were planned to meet up prior to. So I called her. Hey, Miss Rhonda, it's my birthday. It was my birthday at the time too. And she was like, okay, come over. Over Miss Rhonda's house, and she made me a cake. I don't eat cake. I was so mad. Like, why would this lady make me this whole cake? I don't eat cake. Man, when I tell you she made me a carrot cake, I was like, oh, I gotta eat this cake. I'm gonna have a little piece, then I'm gonna say, something. It was the best cake I've ever had in my life. Like, I literally asked her to make another one after that. I ate the whole cake, and then she made another one then. So I was leaving Puerto Rico. It was time for me to have been up. I had already been there for like 3 weeks. And I was like talking to Miss Rhonda. I'm like, I don't really want to go. And she was like, you can stay here if you want, no problem. I won't charge you. You could just stay here. She didn't know what I was going through at the time. And I ended up staying with her, and the healing process has started. I stopped drinking. Also, that voice told me, work on your cookbook. Like, finish your cookbook. Focus your energy towards that. And the second day at Miss Rhonda's house, I made her a salad. We started working on the cookbook, and it would help me out. She's like, what do you need me to do? It was a beautiful experience. And Miss Rhonda also, she listened to gospel music every day. Remember, it was Maverick music. I didn't know what that was, but every morning at 7:00 in the morning, she would play this Maverick music. And I'm sleeping and I'm waking up to that every day. And it is literally healing me every single day. She didn't even know what I was going through. It was like I feel God used her to heal me at that time. I was just getting better. I was working on my cookbook in Puerto Rico. I just felt like I got another chance. And also, there was entities that were trying to get to me and whenever I would get in a high spiritually, those people who had access to me were trying to get me or off the edge again. And I say that to anybody listening to know that even when you're on your verge of healing and getting good, there will be people who will get access to you and try to do that. I digress. So I stayed with Miss Rhonda for like a month, and I go back to my hometown, and I'm kind of like staying all over everywhere. I'm just literally still just focusing on my cookbook. I would be focused. I went to my mom's house, and I started finishing the cookbook there. That was just like where all my energy went. And I decided that I felt free. I felt happy. I felt like I got another chance. And I was going to do everything that I wanted to do. Like, let's get this bucket list. Everything that makes me nervous, let's do it. I went to the Bahamas.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Flames with Joel James on the go. Today we are in the Bahamas.
And I stayed a month in the Bahamas. And I wanted to meet all my family members that I had never met before. I flew to another island in the Bahamas and met my family members. And all this whole time, I'm making content. I'm still a viral person on the internet.
Washing machine don't work, we ain't got one. Hey, Lorenz, take prison cakes back.
Nobody just knows what I'm going through. I'm in the Bahamas, and I'm working on my cookbook, and I'm meeting my family, and it's just the most amazing time in the world because my family, nobody knew I was going through at the time, but they just embraced me and just gave me all the love that I needed. I went to LA, and I went and performed at Chocolate Sundays, which has been a fear of mine forever just because it was like my first time ever seeing great comedy. I went and I performed there, and I did a great job.
Get the Beyonce and I get Solange.
Good shape. I look good. I would work out. I'm telling you, woo, that boy was looking good. I just called people and talked to people. I just had another chance at life, and it was exciting. And everywhere I went, I did the cookbook in LA, and I finally came back and was able to finish the cookbook. I'm working on the cookbook. You guys, all of my people online were cheering me on. Y'all didn't know what y'all was doing, but y'all were like cheering me on too. Like, go ahead, finish it. I'm telling y'all how hard it was because it was the hardest thing I had ever done. And I was back. I was back mentally all right. I didn't drink for that whole year. And it was the best year of my life. I'm back. And what I realized in the lesson of that year is that I had to save me, right? I had to take it. I wanted somebody else to save me, but I had to be the one to save me. I was responsible for me. So I don't fault anybody in my life for not doing what Raquel did. That's what she did. That's who she was, and luckily she was there. But I had to save myself. I had to be there for myself. I had to believe in myself. I had to stop all substances and just really get my brain together and focus on. I never realized how to deal with my dad's death. I never dealt with it. I dealt with it by drinking it away, right? And which it never went away. It just got worse. And in that year, I was able to deal with it. So when I say in my cookbook, you know, it was the hardest year of my life. I did this book. That's what I mean. People are like, what do you mean by that was the hardest year of your life? But it was the hardest year of my life, but it saved me. So that's why it's more than just a cookbook to me. It is my baby. Oh, also, let me show you all this too. Is Miss Rhonda's carrot cake. She gave me the recipe. Because this carrot cake was a part of the healing process. And that's why, shout out to Miss Rhonda. It's the best carrot cake you'll ever have in your life. That's it. So thank you guys for tuning in to this. I hope this was able to help somebody out. I hope somebody can listen to this and understand me more, maybe understand yourself more, maybe understand somebody else more. Boom.
Buy the Flame with Joel James cookbook now. And I'm on to you guys getting all the free ingredients. We're gonna have to stop doing that.